welcome to the AskBonBon Show. I am your host, Bonnie Bruder, and we bring you real conversations that matter most and introduce you to the people and the tools to create the life that you love. Today, we are talking about something that is so near and dear to my heart, and that is business. As you know, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been behind 7 different businesses, some that I have sold, some that are still running. And my favorite, of course, well, besides the coaching and doing this show, is Dirty Dog. But today we are here to talk to and introduce you to a true expert on business models, somebody that truly coaches people on how to create a successful business. Her name is Carolyn Herforth, and her business is The Biz Truth. And before you meet her, I just want to tell you a quick little story. 2 years ago, when I first moved to New York, I was introduced to Carolyn through email via a mutual friend. And the minute I looked up who she was and her business, I said, oh my gosh, we are twins separated at birth because we have such a similar mission. Mine is more in the coaching space, hers is in the business model space, but it was just absolutely incredible to meet somebody that was so aligned with what I believe, that's business minded. And so I'm very excited to introduce her to all of you today. Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How fun.
Yes. Well, so tell our viewers just a little bit, what is the Biz Truth?
What is the Biz Truth? Well, the Biz Truth is what every entrepreneur needs to face. And that is, if you're in business, you're in sales. And if you're in sales, then you need to have something worthwhile to sell. And everybody has something worthwhile to sell. So the Biz Truth is all about coaching and empowering and inspiring entrepreneurs to trust themselves and their decisions by equipping them with training and tools and the chutzpah that it takes to run a business.
Wow, that's such an interesting point. You know, last night I was watching The Good Wife, which is one of my favorite shows, and Diane was on this hunting trip with her husband, and I thought to myself, sometimes I'm a little envious because when you are an entrepreneur, it does take so much chutzpah, and it can be very tiring and draining. It can be amazing as well. But I always am a little envious of people that just have a trade, like a doctor or a lawyer. But I was watching the show, and I was watching how hard she was working the room and trying to get new clients, and I thought every single person is in sales, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So I love that you teach that.
Yep, every single person. And every time an entrepreneur complains to me like, oh, everybody's selling something, I'm like, well, you're selling something, aren't you? So
right.
Yeah, everybody's selling something.
Wow. So tell us, you know, how do you work with someone? If I come to you and I say, I have this great business idea, what next?
You know, everybody has a great business idea, and it's what you do with it, right? It's the actions that you take with it. And so what I do is I help entrepreneurs really take a few steps back and think first about what they want their business to do for them. Because oftentimes, like, you're so excited about an idea and you just barrel into your business and you're like, you're doing all these crazy things. And sometimes you lose a little ground by doing that. So what I like to do is stop, take a little breath, and help people first declare what they want their business to do for them, and then define what their business does for others. And then from there we get into the design part of it. So it's, how do you want to package yourself? How do you want to position yourself to your marketplace so that it's not a matter of when people buy from you, but if people buy from you, it's a matter of when they buy from you. And then how do you price yourself? And then from there, once you've got those pieces in place, then going out and doing it and learning the skills to sell and market and figuring out the best way to reach your market becomes so much easier. So I spend a ton of time up front really challenging people to get a little selfish and think about declaring what they want their business to do for them. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And I think you're right. I feel like everybody does have a business idea. Everyone wants to be an author, everyone wants to be a speaker, and everyone has a business idea. Yeah. So I get approached with that all the time too. And, you know, some are great ideas, but also a lot of the time, you know, it's not something that is functional for the lifestyle that you're wanting, or a big shift needs to happen.
Yeah, and when I started my business, before starting this business, I played a hand in the launch of 100 businesses over the course of 7 years, and specialized in the area of franchising. And that's, you know, people came in and the business model was all set for them. It was just a matter of helping them figure out what is the best business model for what you want your life to look like and what your goals are and what you want, you know, what your expectations are. So it was all around helping them find the right business model. Well, when I started my sales company and started creating my own sales training for entrepreneurs who sell their own services, I found that people didn't think through the packaging part, and they didn't think through the business model part. It made selling so much harder. So an idea is one thing, and what you do with it is another. And I mean, I just met with a woman today who she is brilliant. She is a thought leader. She does something in HR that very few people do, and she's stepping out on her own. She's like, I so need to work with you because I know that it'll shorten the earning curve, so to speak.
Very nice.
So that it's absolutely critical. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I guess that, there are many different directions and many different models and many different ways that you can enter business. So what are some insider tips, from your side of the fence as the expert that you can tell people that are watching that either are starting a business or in the early stages of business?
Yeah, the first tip I have is you can look to other people's businesses and business models for inspiration, but I would not try to copy it step by step. And I think that's the inclination, because people don't trust. They don't always have the business experience. They have industry experience. They might have technical experience in what they're going to do, but they don't necessarily have business model or design or even sales experience. And so the tendency or the inclination is to go mimic what other people are doing. Well, she sets up her business like this, or he does business this way, so I'm going to do it that way. And they try to copy that, and it ends up leading to disappointment oftentimes because it's not true to them. So, and I've done it. I mean, I'm telling you, I have made every mistake in the book. So
that's probably what makes you a great teacher, right? I feel the same in a lot of ways in the personal development realm, but then you learn and then you're able to teach. So it's good.
Yes, absolutely. So even though you have that inclination, I mean, I just want to talk about the 4 Ds that I help people walk through when they're setting up their business model, because it helps provide a container for where to start. So the first D is to declare what you want your business to do for you. The second D is to define what you want your business to do for others. So what value are you going to deliver, and how are you going to articulate that? How are you going to position yourself as a thought leader? And what are the outcomes? Like what are the outcomes, and what do your clients want? It's not always what they want or need, it's what they want. So that's the second D. And then the third D is to design it, which we've already discussed, and the fourth D is to do. So if you have that container and you've defined those things, it makes the design, that third D, a lot easier, because if someone says, oh, I really want a membership program. I work primarily with business owners who are experts. They are knowledge-based businesses, so they're selling their services. And so if someone comes to me and says, here are the hours I want to work, here's the kind of money I want to make, and I want to start by selling this, $297 package so that I can make money in my sleep. And I've got to be making $10,000 a month right out of the gate. I'll be like, that's probably not a great place for you to start if you don't have a list, if you don't have a community, if you don't have the systems built up in order to do that. So I think it's really important to look at that. So for someone in that position, I might say, you know what, maybe you're better off starting off coaching them or working with people one-on-one, and not necessarily trading hours for dollars, because I'm a big believer in packaging your services rather than just saying, okay, so I charge $200 an hour. No, let's find a way to package that up so there's more value for you, and it's less of a tick, like attorney, being on the clock, right? And so sometimes people start in the wrong place based on what they want their business to do for them.
I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The 4 Ds, I love that. It's interesting, I've told this story on another show, but I want to share it with you because you're the business model guru.
Let's hear it.
So when I started Dirty Dog, which is the antibacterial spray for dog paws, the way that I got the idea is I was on a plane, and I was a captive audience, and there was a TV show on the little seat back, and it was on Bethany Frankel, and I didn't know who this person was. I'd heard of the Housewives, but I was watching this show, and I was very impressed and intrigued, and it was the show where they were touring her bottle company for Skinny Girl, and she was talking about how she created this idea, and then she created a formula, and then she sold it for $100 million. And here